Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Wake up, wake up. Talking to myself. Wake up, Paul. Wake up. Get your body moving. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning.
Aha!
Gotta shake it up a little bit. Shake it on.
Yeah, you gotta.
Woo. It's Friday, y'all. It's Friday, y'all.
Feeling the week.
Feeling the whole week on my shoulders right now.
Yeah, man. In my chest, in my back.
This show is dedicated to you, the chat chimers. You nature's gods. Paul B, Buddi3 Da Gawd. Star Trek Rich. All three of us are all sleep deprived. But we're here. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Friday, May 20th, 2022. Another fresh edition of First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Paul B, Buddi3 Da Gawd, Star Trek Rich, and all of you. What's going on, chat chimers? What's happening? What's happening? Pops gives us a good Friday morning First Sky squad and fam. Pops, me and you both called the right day today. So I'm proud of us. Judy Prinzer gives us a good Friday morning, family. Good morning to you. Kateri Him Peto says good morning with some sunshine. What's happening? Hey. And Brother Muhammad says assalamu alaikum, family.
Hey, walaikum salam, family.
What's happening, brother? How you guys doing this morning? Thanks for everybody getting up early. All the chat chimers, all the ghost listeners. This First Sky Omaha Radio. Also on the radio channel, I want to give a shout out to everybody who's listening there. Let us know how the 6:30 mix went today. If you're part of that 6:30 crowd. And welcome to the Friday edition. How you feeling over there, buddy?
Man, I'm tired, boss.
Boss, he tired.
Yeah. Made the mistake of going to the gym with my wife last night.
Let me analyze that sentence. Made the mistake of going to the gym with your wife last night. Okay.
Yeah, man.
Why was it a mistake?
I'm like you, man. Call him James.
You're so unfamiliar with the gym, you call him James. Huh?
Man, my body was like, what is this? What are you doing?
Wow.
That was after driving around for like 8 hours all day, just ripping and running. Yeah. My daughter, her ballet recital's coming up. And this is Atlanta, man. So everything's like 20, 30, 45, an hour away. Nothing's like 10 minutes around the corner.
Right.
And yeah, so everywhere I had to go was about a 30, 45 minute drive. So I'm just driving for 8 hours straight yesterday in the car.
I mean, that'll wear you out. Grown folks talk about that stuff. Like, what'd you do? Well, I was driving around. Well, why you tired? Because I was driving around.
Man, you ain't just sitting there.
TD Sanders in the house. What's happening? She says, good morning, y'all. How you doing, Miss Sanders? We still got to get you back on the show for sure.
Yeah.
Yep. Rose Review said, ears on. That's what's up, man. Thanks for listening. Drive safe, please. Drive safe.
Please.
Michelle Moreno says, good morning, everyone. And Chelsea Erpelding says, happy Friday with some sunshine. Happy Friday to you, too.
Let it in. Let the sunshine in.
Everybody loves the sunshine. Thanks for joining us. And once again, man, you got to bear with us today because we are very sleep deprived. It just happens to be that way. Whew, it's been a long week. Tell us about your week.
It definitely has been a long week, man.
Feels like it, man. Feels like I had the whole week on my shoulders for real.
Yeah.
Tell us about your week. Let us know how you feel about what was going on this week and all that good stuff too. Are you feeling the weight of the week the way that we are, or are you feeling the lightness of the fact that it's Friday and tomorrow's the weekend and we'll get into it?
Finally, you consider Saturday the weekend? I think Friday's the beginning of the weekend. This is the end of the week.
Friday is the beginning of the weekend. Thursday even is weekend. Is Friday Junior.
Yes, sir. Friday Junior. Yes, sir.
TD Sanders says, appreciate this platform. You're doing good work. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We appreciate your platform.
Yes,
doing good work at the Omaha Star over there. For those of you who don't know, TD Sanders is rolling with the Omaha Star. So
check them out.
Yeah, definitely check them out. Got some good stuff in there, especially about the neighborhood, man. That's where you really gonna find out what's going on in the Deuce and the surrounding areas.
What's good in the hood?
What's good in the hood? Pick you up a copy of the. I like the paper copies. So pick you up a paper copy of that Omaha Star. Check it out. Dig in. That's what's up. Brother Rich, Star Trek Rich in the house. He says like and subscribe on First Sky YouTube.
Hey.
Yeah, I checked out on the YouTube last night. We got about 117 now.
It's slowly growing.
Slowly growing. That's what's up. Appreciate it.
Make sure y'all clicking that notification bell too, though, so you know when we go live. You're not missing any shows or anything.
There you go. Also, if you're on Facebook, of course, share the show on your page, please, if you would, in order for us to get as many people in the conversation as possible. Pop says, what gets rough is when you're so old or too tired to even start driving around. Yeah,
man.
When you too tired to even ride around, huh, Pops? I don't even want to walk to the car sometimes. Brother Muhammad says, double duty YouTube. I appreciate you on YouTube and Facebook. You do that too. Brother Wells Lavelle's in the house. Grand Rising Indian Taco Pozole Day. Bro, I'm there. I'm there.
I'm mad I got missed out on that.
Not missing it this time, bro. Not missing it. Later on today. As a matter of fact, what time does that start, man? Let me know exactly when, because I know it's going to go until it's out. So I gotta come early.
It says 11 a.m.
There it is. Center Mall. Again, you know where that's at, 42nd Street. He's on the 4th floor. Definitely go check him out. I'm definitely gonna get some of that pozole with the fried bread. Doing that.
402G.
Caramel banana pudding. Doing that. And Indian tacos with everything on it. Taking that home for dinner later. So I got my day planned.
All right. Man, sounds like a good time. Please go and support Brother Wells Lavelle, man. Lavelle Wells doing the real thing. Good work, man. Doing the good work. Also, they are still looking for a facility. So if anyone has any insight or any connections on a facility for him and I forget the brother he was with. I forget his name. But man, he was dropping some gems as far as the mental health and how they're attacking it. So definitely support the efforts. And also speaking of support, man, okay, I see TD Sanders talking about it in the chat. She says saw X the Opera in Detroit last weekend. Stay tuned. Coming to Omaha in November. Okay.
Wow. Okay.
About Malcolm's life. Yeah, I was definitely gonna ask. Yesterday was the birthday celebration. Shout out to the family over at the Malcolm X Memorial Foundation.
Doing it big.
Man, it was a celebration and it's still going on. So if anyone made it yesterday, definitely would like to hear that. Let us know.
Apparently, Amir Locke's mom, Karen Wells, was there. Also, Bobby Seale was there. I know there was a couple people from the chat chimers that definitely went. I believe Paul Philman went and did some live streaming and everything too. If you went yesterday and you got to hear everybody speak, let us know what was going on with the Liberation Luncheon. And then, of course, the party continues on through the week at the Malcolm X Memorial Foundation. Yep. Tours and exhibits and Freestyle Friday today. So, definitely go check it out, man. More to see, more to do. It was in celebration of Malcolm X. And I was just thinking about it, man. It was like Malcolm X, he was born on the north side.
All right.
You know what I'm saying? Like north side. North.
Yes.
Yeah. So, that's what's up. Josh Tate says, happy fried bread Friday. I heard that.
Hey, Friday. Happy Friday.
The brother's name was Frank Bailey. Thank you, Brother Wells, for that.
Thank you.
Frank Bailey came in and blew our minds with some of these tactics that we're talking about to mental health, to save people's mental health. Because we've been asking about it. We put it out there like, what are we, this is not just about making beds and facilities all the time. What else can we do? And he came with a 10-point plan or something.
Man, I mean, he was talking about eye movement and light and sound therapy and
all of it, bro.
Very interesting
stuff that can really actually help and that supports kids and actually supports the family. So, let's find this brother a building for real.
Right.
These brothers doing the good work. Brother Wells too.
Man, definitely. So let's get out there and support. Also, we will be getting into an extensive haps later on, talking about the walk in honor and remembrance of Brother Zachary Bear Hills. That's coming up a little later on. So big shout out to Brother Lavelle Wells for the work that he's doing with that. He will be in attendance there as well. So yeah, man. As I mentioned, we'll have an extensive haps later on in the show. No guests today, right? No
guests. Yeah.
Yeah. We're just chilling out, man. It's a Friday.
Just us. We're gonna talk. Things to talk about.
Actually, yeah, quite a few things to talk about. And as always, if there's anything on your hearts or your minds, feel free to let us know what's going on. And we'll try to talk about it if we have the information, or if not, we'll look into it. But before we get into the rundown of the day's topics, how you doing, Paul? I know you said you ain't really getting much sleep.
Tired, boss.
Yeah, man.
Tired.
Yeah.
I have not gotten a lot of sleep the last couple of days, so I'm a zombie through it, and then we'll see.
So if you hear some somewhat unintelligible sentences, or say the wrong word the wrong way, please excuse us. It's Friday. But yes, without further ado, man, we do have several things to dive into, and would love to hear from you, the chat chimers. Even a few ghost listeners out there that don't really chime into the chat often, feel free to join the conversation. It's welcome for everybody, even if you don't agree with us. I know a lot of times we kind of all kind of be on the same page with a lot of these topics, but even if you don't agree, we definitely love to have those kind of conversations, and to try to expand our minds with different perspectives. Definitely join the conversation, chime into the chat, and let your mind be free, let your voice be heard, especially on this latest announcement of a $1 million investment for at-risk moms and babies. This coming from CHI Health and Nebraska's 3 Medicaid managed care providers. Again, I feel like this has something to do. I'm kind of connecting this to the Douglas County Health Department recognition of health racism as a health crisis, because they're talking about the infertility or fetal death rate of African American women, and the fact that it's almost doubled in the last couple of years. So this is all geared towards combating that.
We'll get into it.
Yeah, definitely, especially in light of the Roe v. Wade situation. Yeah, gotta talk about that. Also, front porch investments, affordable housing, millions going towards that. But affordable housing, a buzzword. We'll actually get into what's actually happening. A big shout out to Front Porch Investment, though. I believe 3 sisters coming together to make that happen.
Okay.
And now investing millions. So yeah, we'll dive into that situation. Speaking of investments and developments, there's an interesting article diving into the duality of development. This is a conversation we've been having here on the show many times. But what is the difference between gentrification and revitalization? Are they one and the same? Where do you draw the line? So I definitely would love to hear from the listeners on that one. How do you kind of define or consider, what do you consider gentrification versus just revitalizing the area? And then speaking of that, of course, the Gene Leahy Mall, that center is still under construction, and actually they're pushing forward for a very aggressive opening date this year. So we'll dive into what they're planning on doing with that area, and I'll just say it's not a surprise.
We called it.
Not a surprise. Yeah, not a surprise at all. But of course, we'll be talking about that and more. As I mentioned, extensive haps later on, letting you know what's going on throughout the weekend and the upcoming weeks. If there's anything going on in your world that you'd like to share, feel free to do so. In the meantime, in between time, let's go ahead and get this thing going. Paul B, Buddi3 Da Gawd, Star Trek Rich, all of you, let's go.
Let's do it. right on, right on. Thank you very much for joining us. Good morning, good morning, good morning. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Paul B, Buddi3 Da Gawd, Star Trek Rich, all of you, the chat chimers, all of you listening on the radio channel as well. I appreciate my 6:30 club. Said the mix was on point today, so I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Loving it, loving it. Also, I wanted to say shout out to Todd Pinson that came in and says morning love to First Sky. That's what's happening. TD Sanders in the house says I was there. Great celebration supporting our own local, yes, North Omaha, Malcolm X.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see this this show that's coming here for about his life. That'll be great, interesting thing to check out for sure. Ty Williams gives us a good morning with some sunshine. Thank you very much. Vaughn Chapman is over on the Friends of First Sky Omaha with a diatribe, bro. You already know I ain't reading all this, so
man, is that who that is?
Yeah, I had to go look. I was like, who is this with this diatribe? Brother Chapman in the chat. Definitely go back and read that stuff, and we'll come back to it as we go on as well. But thanks for coming in and talking and sharing your story here, sharing your piece. We'll definitely go check it out. Lots of wisdom comes from Brother Chapman and all of you. A lot of other people in the chat that always has very intelligent comments and things. We appreciate it. We encourage you to keep doing it and talk amongst yourself, even because this is a conversation. We call this group. What do we call this? Group storytelling.
Yep.
Yeah.
There you go.
So that's what's happening, man. Brother Valentine says, Vaughn Chapman, come on over to First Sky Omaha, man. That's what's up. Come on over to Death
man.
Row.
Come on, man. Come to Death Row.
You tired of people always calling you Facebook user? Come on.
I was definitely wondering, man, if you're gonna be dropping it like that, brother. Let us know who you are. Let yourself be known. But I was actually kind of skimming through this diatribe that Brother Chapman laid down on us, and he just starts off with "We's tired, boss." So
he's tired, boss.
That kind of sums it up. The brother is tired. So we'll dive into a little bit of that here in a second.
Yep.
But I do want to kick off with this CHI story because this is something that we've been paying close attention to as of late in regards or in light of the threat to Roe v. Wade and women stepping up and protesting across the country, preparing for that fight for their rights to have autonomy over their bodies. And this is a victory, I would say, a small victory, but a step in the right direction. As reported by Omaha World Herald, CHI Health and Nebraska's 3 Medicaid managed care providers recently announced that they have committed $1 million towards helping at-risk moms and moms to be assisting them with delivery and raising healthy babies. Dr. Carrie Ward, who is CHI's health chief medical officer, said data shows that underserved and at-risk women have higher pregnancy complication rates and higher infant mortality rates. Actually, in 2019, the county reached a 4-year low of 6.1 infant deaths for every 1,000 live births. And then in 2020, that figure went up about 0.7%. 11%. That's according to preliminary data. However, once you break it down by race, this according to Dr. Lindsay Hughes, who's the Douglas County Health Director, she says that Black women, particularly so-called Black women, giving birth saw a 78% increase in infertility or infant mortality over a 2-year period. And she went on to say that is not okay, and it absolutely needs to be addressed. The health department said is committed to exploring why such disparities are occurring, but ensuring that moms have access to vital services is important to ensuring that babies in the community can survive and thrive. And again, I'm happy to see this because I've been, ringing the bell for the last couple of years as far as what does it mean and what does it tangibly look like for Douglas County to recognize racism as a health disparity or health crisis. And again, many women of color, some are women of color, some have shared their stories in this chat, in this show, as far as their stories with birth and some of the complications that they've had and how doctors have not responded based on their race and the color of their skin. So this is hopefully this can do a lot of good.
Yeah, Yeah, that sounds good. I'm glad that something's being done about that. I remember us talking. One point, I read this whole piece about the fact that doctors are always thinking that women of color, especially black women, so like you say, so-called black women, are have a higher pain threshold, and deny them services and deny them things sometimes, thinking they can take pain a different way than any other human can, and also
Mhm.
they seem to get more C-sections
Yeah.
at birthing time as well too. And the doctors, it's been kind of revealed a little bit that the doctors have decided that well, first of all, C-sections cost more money than natural birth. It's also a surgery. There's all kinds of stuff to it that's more than just, oh, she needs one. They do a lot of this kind of work, and a lot of black women are speaking out against the fact that they're always told they need to have a C-section as well. Way more higher percentage than anybody else.
Yeah. I
So
mean,
yeah. Mhm.
my daughter was born via C-section, and
Mhm.
it was an emergency C-section because, as I expressed, my wife had gotten into an accident,
Yeah.
but I was not there when she got into the accident, so I had to arrive to the hospital late. So by the time I got there, the decision to have a C-section was already made.
Mm.
She was under medication, so she really didn't have, her whereabouts
Yeah.
with her, and like it was COVID, so I couldn't really get in. So yeah, it was a situation where my wife was isolated
Mm.
under drugs, and she ended up having a C-section. I
In
feel
an
like
emergency situation too. On
right,
top of
right,
that,
right,
yeah.
right, right, right. I think the two things, to be honest, be the two things that kind of eased my anxiety and kind of was the fact that her doctor was a sister. So the fact that her
Mm.
doctor, gets it
Mm.
and is not looking at her as an other, that was probably the biggest thing for me. That was the biggest relief. I'll be honest. Had her doctor been someone of a different descent, I might have felt differently about the decision that was made for her.
If she had had the
And
baby here, you probably wouldn't have had that.
right, right, right. And the fact that it was an emergency, she was in an accident, and we
Yeah.
were worried about, the health of the baby, which is why they wanted to go ahead and birth her. But those types of situations happen more often than not, as far as people, not really having autonomy.
Yeah. Pops is talking about my mom's. He said we came within minutes of losing my wife when she was giving birth. It was a scary, scary, scary day. Yeah, it was. I was there. It was very, very scary. Very
Yeah.
tenuous. And what can it? I mean, the facts don't lie. The numbers don't lie. This is happening to people of color more proportionally than anybody else.
Man, it's a shocking number, man. 78% increase over a 2-year period.
That's crazy, man.
That can't be happenstance. You know what I mean? That just can't.
Yeah. Not with what we know about just, critical race theory, as a matter of fact.
Right, 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 right. So
This idea that things are based on race, and it's been proven.
unfortunately,
Even healthcare, yeah.
right. And again, the chief medical officer of CHI, Dr. Kerry Ward, says that we know that we have to meet people where they are. We can't just fix everything inside the hospital walls and the clinics. We need partners to help us with that. So a big shout out to Pathways Community Hub Institute for partnering with CHI Health Initiative to come up with that $1 million. And again, applications will be taken until June 30th. So if you or anyone could benefit from a program like this, definitely look into it. The institute will begin to release funds in January as a chosen organization meets program criteria. So, and that money will be going out within months. So look into that. I'm not seeing a
Yeah.
link to apply, but we'll try to get that before the end of the show.
That's what's up. Appreciate it. Shout out to CHI for trying to do a little something. That's what's up. I want to give a shout out to Willie Williams, our Southwest correspondent. She gives us some blessings this morning. How you doing this morning, Miss Williams? I know you got Juneteenth stuff coming up big time where you at, and
Yeah.
I'm working with Michelle every day now. She's talking about it. Us doing some stuff here, so I guess I don't know if you've been in touch with her, but if not, then we'll be in touch. Brooke Allen gives us a good morning. What's happening, Brooke? Stacy Jean says good morning, first Sky Omaha family and friends. Appreciate everybody who is chiming into the chat. Also, Mama God in the house. What's happening? Says mitigating
Hey.
circumstances due to baby situation. doctor wanted one with Mark because Buddy was under duress. Yeah, I refused and had a natural birth. Wow. So you had to refuse the C-section way back in the day. I mean, this is not a current problem. Then this has been going on for a while. Sounds
Yep.
like.
Yep. And we were planning on having a natural home birth as well.
Yeah.
So
Well,
yeah.
that's what my pops was talking about. Almost losing my mom is we had a natural home birth. It was in a facility, but it was more of a natural situation in the hospital, and it was rough. So we were happy the doctors were there, but them doctors, was handling things pretty roughly, and it was just rough. And my sister was 10 pounds 5 ounces too, bro. So it
Mm,
was hectic. It
yeah.
definitely traumatized me a teens being that young.
I can imagine. I can imagine. But one thing I will say that I heard that a lot of women have turned to and is kind of ramping up in communities is the use of doulas.
Yeah.
Doulas and midwives and things like that. So yeah, that's an option out there if anyone again is find themselves in that situation, you might want to look into that.
Yep, for sure. Leia Keister gives us a happy Friday. Good morning to you. Thanks for joining
Hey.
us. And looks like I'm trying to see if this is Vaughn Chapman, his Facebook user. My children are somewhat big and don't like to come out. So they told me I had to have a C-section, but I didn't, refused for both. Okay, so that's not Vaughn Chapman that said that. So
No, I don't think so. I don't think so.
yeah, it's not showing me who that Facebook user is. Yeah, we it only tells us the name if you're over on Friends or on the First Sky Omaha page. If you're on Friends of First Sky, then we don't see who you are. I'm sorry about that. Wanda Lewis says have a C-section is more convenient for the doctor. They don't like to wait around. That too.
That
I've
part.
heard that. I've heard of convenience. I've heard it's practice for surgery. I heard a whole bunch of stuff. So
Just guinea pigging you, huh?
I am not Vaughn. That's right.
Who are you? Who are you?
Well, whoever it is, it ain't Vaughn. So that's what's up. But yeah, it's an interesting thing I heard. I mean, I don't know how it came to on my radar. I think I had a friend first that was digging into it, and that was kind of rough. That was rough to go through and find out. She tried to fought it, but didn't have a whole lot of family and stuff around too that could help fight, and ended up succumbing to it. And then I got on my radar, and then it was like every black woman I knew after that had a C-section. I haven't. As a matter of fact, to this day, I haven't. I don't have any friends that had kids that had a natural birth yet.
Really?
Yep. So, yeah, I don't know, man. Yeah, it's rough. So I mean, and that's just one aspect of the healthcare situation. It's just one aspect of it. There's so many other things that we can be talking about when it comes to disparities in healthcare. It's crazy, and everybody has a story. Everybody's scared of it, all the way up to Serena Williams almost died, in China. You know what I'm saying?
Man, I forgot about that. I forgot
Yeah.
about that. The fact that they weren't listening to her,
Right.
Serena. So yeah, it's a real thing. It's a real problem. I'm trying to find the link for people to go ahead and apply for this, but we might have to continue to look for it throughout the show and post it in the chat a little later on. But a big shout out to everyone sharing their stories, sharing their personal experiences in the chat. We always appreciate that.
Absolutely. Mama God says the problem is that once you've had C-section, you have to continue delivering via cesarean. Did not know that.
Really?
Michelle Moreno says I had to have C-section 2 times because both boys came early, one at 31 weeks and one at 33 weeks early. So the early thing, the premature thing is part of that. Huh. Wanda Lewis, the doctor for my firstborn, was mad that I messed up his golf plans. Woo! My mother cackled at him and said, "Oh, your shoes," because his white shoes were no longer white. Dang. Yo,
Dang.
it must be Erica. Is there you, Miss Erica Felt on there?
It has to be. It has to be.
We'll find out right now. But thanks for chiming in on this subject. Here is of course very important subject, and like I said, shout out to CHI for trying to come up with some dollars. Hope it goes to the right, the people that need it.
Right.
and all that. Yeah.
And I'm also curious to see, again, Dr. Lindsay Hughes of Douglas County Health said that they're going to look into why this 78% increase for quote unquote Black women having their infant mortality rate go up. So I'm curious to see what those findings, what
Mhm.
those findings kind of tell us that we probably already know, but it'd be nice to
Right.
get it confirmed from an official report. So
Mhm.
yeah, definitely look forward to see what comes out of that and what good it does in the hood, man. So
Yeah.
again, big shout out to CHI, especially in light of the Roe v. Wade situation.
Most def.
Man.
It is 7:31 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, sorry, Miss Erica, I'm not sure why your name's not coming through here on our side, but I do see you on the page, and it's funny. I recognize your tone in your comments now. I said that got to be Erica, though.
Yes, there's voice in there. There's a voice in there.
Let's take a quick break and come back and jump into another subject. Again, you're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the
Paul
morning.
Beeee, Buddi3 Da Gawd, Star Trek Rich, all of you, the chat chimers, stay tuned. We'll be right back on this Friday, the 20th, 2022. Stay tuned. Welcome back.
Hey.
Trying to get that beach vibe going on again.
Right near the beach.
I need to be right near the beach for real. First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Paul Beeee, Buddi3 Da Gawd, Star Trek Rich, all of you, the chat chimers, thanks for joining into the chat, getting up so early with us on this Friday. Let us know what you got going on this weekend. We're going to have an extensive haps a little later on in the show, and we can talk about all of that. It would be very, very good to discuss what's happening. I think the weather's supposed to be halfway decent. It's been pretty hot. It's going to be a little cool today. So it's doing the Omaha thing, man, fluctuating, going up and down, acting crazy. So let us know what you got going on this weekend for sure. Don't forget, I'm gonna just be saying it all throughout the show. It is Fry Bread Friday.
Hey.
Friday is going down at 11 o'clock. Big Elk Native Soul Indian Taco fundraiser sale going on over there. So our brother Lavelle Wells is getting ready to go throw it down over there, and I definitely suggest that you go check it out. He's partnered with somebody this time that's going to do some pozole, which I'm looking forward to very much. So yeah, meet us over there for that. Also, if you can't make it, you got to go somewhere earlier. Breakfast Club, North Omaha Breakfast Club is open today. Did see that on the on Friends of First Sky Omaha that Brother Terrence is opening back up this morning, and yesterday too. I think yesterday and today opened back up. So if you want to get some breakfast, probably head over there a little early there too, man. You know, it's gonna be a day for me. I'm planning out my day according to the restaurants I'm gonna go eat at, and that's how I work. That's how I roll. So that's what's up. Getting back into the chat and back into the subject. There's a lot going on here. Okay, Wanda Lewis says Miss Erica felt changed her profile picture this morning after the show started. Could be why you're not seeing who she is. She might have to log out and log back on. Okay, appreciate that, Miss Lewis. Yeah, lots going on here. Mama Guy says, by the way, good morning, First Sky fam. On for a bit, then heading out, wheels up, going to hang with Buddy and fam in the ATL. Hey, Mama Guy's coming. She says, maybe I'll wave from the studio if you let me. That's what's up, man. Yeah, that's what's going on. So yeah, appreciate that. It's good you spend some fam time. That's what I'm needing right now is to get out of town, hang with the fam. That's what's up. Ty Williams in the house. What's happening? Says my 16-year-old was born at Nebraska Medical. I went in to check on him because he wasn't moving. Doctor sent me home. Whew. As I was walking out, the chief doctor ran behind me full speed and stated baby had irregular heartbeat. Delivered that day, born not breathing, cord around his neck 3 times. Wow.
Man, that's what happened to me. Cord was wrapped
Wow.
around my neck. I was born blue, bro.
Man, he was a blue black Southerner.
Yep.
That's crazy, man. These stories are insane. I mean, childbirth is a crazy thing in the first place, and so many things can happen and go wrong. It's like you don't have a competent team and doctors and stuff around you. No wonder these numbers are so high for infant mortality rates.
Man,
death, birth, death in childbirth, all kinds of stuff. So,
and especially now, like housing, jobs, everything is kind of so up in the air.
yeah.
To even go through that and then birth the child, where do you go?
Yeah.
It's rough out there. It's rough out there. I mean, especially with the baby formula shortage. Went to Walmart last night to do some grocery shopping, and aisles are barren, man. Like empty.
Wow.
Yeah, actually, I got a picture I posted on Friends of. It's not looking good.
Biden is teaming up with a bunch of airlines that can fly to Canada, I believe he said, where they're going to pick up a bunch. Yeah, and I just thought, how crazy is that? We just reported the other day that you can do that trick of going down to the bottom of your Amazon and say that you're and change it from U.S. to Canada and just order your formula from Canada there. But that's how weird capitalism and our economy and stuff is. Like he's gonna use this huge expense of flying commercial planes over to another country to pick up formula to bring back here to sell us. You know what I'm saying? Like,
when you put it like that,
because the U.S. is the only country that has a shortage of formula.
I mean, if I'm not mistaken, it's all because of sanctions and
political stuff, right?
That's kind of impacted the supply chain.
How ridiculous. And then you got to use taxpayer dollars to get a whole bunch of commercial flights to go over to pick up some product to come back to sell us. It seems so it seems crazy. Like, no wonder I have the relationship with money I do, where it's just haphazard. I don't know what's going on in the bank account. I spent too much here. I did this, didn't keep track of that. Like, I'm just following. I'm just living in America, bro.
Only in America. Man. Speaking of that, just a side note, completely unrelated, but you just reminded me of something, and we'll be talking about this in upcoming weeks with one of our partners from the Reader. There's been a tip put out there that the state is sitting on some money that they not really trying to do too much with, or
again.
Yeah. There's some funny stuff supposedly happening with the money. So if you have any information,
it's gonna go to a jail. That's what's happening.
Man, we'll see.
Moving on. What do we got next to talk about today?
Well, speaking of funny money, Brother Vaughn Chapman has already let us know that this next story is already grinding his gears, and he's tired of it. Of course, we're talking about affordable housing and a $7.3 million investment from Front Porch Investments. Specifically, our Brother Vaughn Chapman is talking about the 75 North portion of this investment. Again, Front Porch Investments is an organization that came together earlier this year as a investment organization to invest in community development projects and such. And they recently awarded $7.3 million to 13 different organizations, including Spark, NDI, and also 75 North. And 75 North received 75 North received 1.5 million construction loan, and also a 557,000 construction grant. So in total, they received about $1.6 million from Front Porch. And then also Spark NDI received about $149,000 for a program and capacity building grant that they were applying for. But again, the heart of this article is talking about the 75 North plans, who plans to build 6 homes with the roughly 1.6 million that they received at the corner of 32nd and Corby Street. President and CEO of 75 North, Sidney Franklin, says this is something the community has been asking for a long time. She also went on to say there's a lot of foundation setting that had to happen before we got into a place where investing in home ownership made sense. Also, Guillermo Diaz, who's I believe with Reform Porch Investments, says we like to use so many of those grads to open up next year in 2023 a Latino or a Spanish Developer Academy. Excuse me, that's right. With Spark NDI, what they plan to do with the money. But again, going back to Brother Chapman's comment, we always perk up or kind of pay attention when affordable housing is used, because we've been struggling to find a definition or affordable housing that actually applies to the definition that has been provided. So we kind of know it's already a buzzword. And it seems like again, going back to Brother Vaughn Chapman's comment, he feels like this is just another example of the Buffetts kind of getting their money into getting their hands per se into the north side.
Okay. I have to maybe go back and check out his comment and see why he feels that way. Where is that? Let's look and see if that's the case. But so far I'm just hearing I'm not nothing's lighting my fire here. They're gonna build 6 houses. Okay. I mean, if we're gonna do 6 houses at a time, then it'll take us a little while to get some ownership back in North Omaha.
Yeah, I would definitely say that's kind of the thing that jumped out to me. Like 6 houses, it's not a lot. But also, I mean, they only received 1.6 million. At first, I thought like they received the whole 7.3 million. I didn't know that it was split up amongst 13 different organizations. And you think 7 million for 6 houses? But what say you? The community again, kind of going into what Brother Chapman says. He says to deliberately mislead those you pretend to be helping with lies about this particular project, and for any property in 75 North, or should know to be untrue, is total BS. This is just another example of just saying it's so does not make it, or by excuse me. This is just another example of just saying it so does not make it so just because you say it. The folks targeted will not timely gain equity, liquidity, nor generational wealth before, during, or after the 15 and 20 years the TIF incentivized developers and builders have to pay taxes on this project, which simply means those targeted new home owners will be paying higher property taxes because of the deferred tax incentives given to the builders and developers. So that's kind of interesting, seeing how TIF plays a role in all of this, which is something that we've also been talking about.
Interesting. TD Sanders in the chat says, I want us locally to perk up. Just because you are from here but do not live here does not give you a platform. Okay. Also, she says, outside agitation not welcome. Watch it, North Omaha. Definitely want to dive into to what you mean there on that, and let's discuss some of that further. I'd like to hear some more of what you're saying here on this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely think. I mean, it's a shame that we feel like we got to kind of question everything that's going on. But Brother Chapman is right. I mean, how are we really building any kind of ownership and generational wealth with some of these moves? It seems like too small of. I don't know. A lot of money for too small of a move. I'm not sure. Pops in the chat says, oh, we're going back to baby formula. We'll come back to that for a minute. Brother Valentine says, what measures are in place to prepare and ensure the community residents have first preference for these new affordable home projects?
I don't know.
I was kind of just, I was kind of like assuming that they would, but you're right. That might be a messed up assumption on my part.
Yeah, I would agree. That can't be an assumption that we make. These are questions that definitely need to be asked.
So you know what I'm saying? So we got 6 houses built, and it might be people from outside the community that get them. T.D. Sanders says, I am saying it is easy to criticize, but where is your energy in dollars and show me? Yeah, very true. Very true. Very true.
Agreed.
Valentine says, keep in mind that you have a large grouping of potential home buyers down the street, i.e. Creighton University graduates. That's true.
Yeah. Again, this $7.3 million investment went out to not just 75 North, but also Canopy South, which I believe is an organization looking at redeveloping the South Terrace projects.
Mm-hmm.
And we actually talked to Sister Kimera Snipes about that, and she says she's been in conversation with them. Also, Habitat for Humanity, who is building the 80 or 85 or so houses, kind of in the northeast Omaha area by where the old Mayats used to be. So again, there is this 75 North piece is a part of a larger picture. Actually, in total, Front Porch said the awarded programs are projected to grow over 700 affordable housing units in Omaha. So again, on the surface, it does sound good, and I do think that the questions that have been asked still need to be answered, are valid questions and valid concerns as far as who's going to move into these homes, who are these homes truly being built for, and if we don't really have an investment in building the economic base of North Omaha, people don't get jobs to afford these houses. No matter how affordable you're trying to make them, they won't be able to afford them. It just is what it is.
Wages don't go up.
Right.
Erica Fell says, remember the gentleman behind them lived in Section 8 here as a child, but now lives elsewhere, I believe Chicago. It said that he may have a few units at $1,400, but most will be more.
Man, $1,400 for an apartment in Omaha?
Are these the houses that we're talking about, or the apartments? But even still, I mean, that's getting up there past where a lot of people can afford. Miss Sanders says, we have a rich history. Look at where we have been, where can we go? Direction and leadership, for sure. Yeah.
With that, user also clears up talking about the houses.
Yeah. Yep. So $1,400. I mean, that's still quite a lot of money.
It's a little up there,
especially for the area. I know that's not what's being paid in the area now. There's it's gonna there's an interesting article that Manny About Town put in the Friends of First Sky Omaha about this cost of revitalization. Kind of a gentrification versus revitalization talk. What's the cost here of upgrading the situation? People being displaced or slow movement. In this case, to me, kind of slow movement. Good some progress, some millions getting thrown to it, and the millions are getting thrown to it are not just for the building of the houses, but also some programs to help people get into those houses and so on. And like we were saying, Habitat for Humanity is doing some big things right now, helping people get in not just Habitat houses, but other houses on the market, and really trying to push for some ownership.
Right.
But what, like I said, when I need ownership by the hundreds. I need to hear, a swath of 1,000 North Omaha folks, bought into some new housing. You know what I'm saying? Like we need some.
Yeah. It needs to be a movement, right? Movement. It needs to be a movement. And as TD Sanders just mentioned, talking about the history, Brother Vaughn Chapman had a comment about revitalization and versus gentrification, and the part that the history and honoring that has in it. He says revitalization honored the community that is historically in place. However, gentrification is akin to colonization, something that you pointed out in the past, Paul. The historic community can stay if they assimilate. Otherwise, they need to leave and will be forced to leave if they don't just go quietly, which is more of the feeling like what we're seeing in North Omaha. As far as, is it revitalization? Are these investments, is it good? I mean, yes, the investment is good, but when you think about the affordable housing that's going to be put in place of the Spencer projects, are those people going to be brought back? Or are they just going to be sent out west? Can they afford to come back? These are the concerns. So with all of this investment, those questions aren't necessarily being answered.
And this is not a platform here where we just are reading headlines and just talking about all these things on a surface level. The whole purpose of this is to have a discussion with you all and get into the deeper deeper thoughts on these subjects, which on this one is like, how do you do that? Like, the reason why I make the distinction between gentrification and colonization is because gentrification just is adding more value to the space that you're in, and anybody can do that. If you're a homeowners or your or your, if you want to beautify your neighborhood, there's things you can do. You can add a business to your neighborhood. There's so many things that you can do to better your neighborhood, and we all want our neighborhoods to be better and better. And so you can gentrify your own neighborhood, and it's in that way it's not a messed up word. But the colonization exists when people from outside of the community come in, displace the people that are inside the community, and then come in and live there and change things up by increasing property values, bringing businesses that the community didn't ask for to the spot, and so on and so forth. So it to me it bears out the question, like, how do you? The deeper question here is, how do you modernize and upgrade and work, work your neighborhood, gentrify your own neighborhood, and what's going to be the cost of that? Because if you do upgrade, then there's going to be some people that can't afford it. You know what I'm saying? There's, is it a horrible thing to say that some people might get displaced in the betterment of the neighborhood? And what if the neighborhood itself is trying to have some betterment? What happens then when people get displaced? Who gets to blame there? Brother Valentine says, if not done correctly, North Omaha is going to become the next Carter Lake. Manny, I'm glad you just woke up. Yeah, this is what we're talking
right
about
on
here.
time.
Come on in. Wanda Lewis says Von Chapman tried investing in the community when he put up $600,000 to purchase the OIC building, and they gave him a hard time. Yeah, I mean, we've talked about this before. There's people in the chat. Some of you chat chimers have been out there, kind of putting some of that work in, trying to gentrify our own neighborhood, and bring some economic base to it, some ownership and stuff to it. That's tough. That's always going to be tough within itself. It's going to be tough to refuse outside money. It's going to be tough. But what's the cost? It seems to me that this money that's coming, is $7 million that's coming, is going to some organizations that are in the neighborhood and trying to do some good for the neighborhood and build some things out. But like I said, we read that article. I heard 6 houses, and we need a little bit more than a block.
Yeah. And again, to clarify, that's what 75 North is doing with their portion. In total,
Right.
again, the 7 million is supposed to go to 700 affordable housing units, which includes, the Habitat for Humanity, which you discussed, and also Spark, one of the organizations that received that money. Apparently, Manny is a part of that. So, Manny, I would definitely love to hear what you think or what your thoughts are on that investment that y'all just received from Front Porch. As far as what Spark receiving 149,000, what are your thoughts on that? And then also, Manny is in this article. I actually have a poll that you talked about that Manny posted in the Friends of page. It's quite lengthy. There's some audio things, some video to check out. So I do urge everyone to just check it out on their own free time, just to educate yourselves and to just read more into revitalization versus gentrification. But not only Spark, but this Forever North study, which I will say I've seen firsthand as far as the investment in the community and how far they're going. I think that's the first kind of red flag when we're talking about revitalization versus gentrification. The developers, how far or how hard are they going in order to include the community? How much of community conversation, and is it just a round, a meeting here and there that no one really attends, is not heavily promoted, or is it something that's an ongoing year-long process that people are really digging in, trying to find out what the community wants and needs, which is something I feel the Forever North project did.
Okay. Makes sense. Manny Baltown says first step is protecting existing residents and homeowners and renters, reduce tax increases, provide more incentives for keeping rent affordable, give grants to existing homeowners. Yeah. For rehabbing their house. So yes, good list. Is that what these dollars are doing? Is that being accomplished with the organizations as far as how they're spending the dollars that came?
That's a good question, because how is building these new units protecting existing residents and homeowners.
Well, like I said, I mean, like you said, there was some of the new units that we were talking about. Was they listed a certain amount of money was going to go to the building of those, but a lot of them also were going to other programs. I'm hoping that there are programs for helping existing homeowners rehab their houses and so on and so forth. Keeping ownership and so on and so forth. But what Manny's laid out here to me is a great list.
Yeah,
we just need to know if those dollars are going to that. There's actually action behind these ideas with those dollars that got allotted. Wanda Lewis is talking about OOIC building again. Says they continue to have for sale sign up at OOIC building, but they don't really want to sell it. They want to tear it down for redevelopment. That's why they've refused all attempted purchases thus far. It's a farce. I've seen that happen a lot with a whole bunch of other buildings around town too. So it rings true to me that that's what they're doing here. It's a building that I know now. This is the third time I've heard of somebody who I'm connected to that tried to buy it, and it didn't get sold. So, brother Manny says we are going to support building up developers from the community. Be the developers of the community. Okay, so that's where a lot of that can go. It can go to areas where some of that money can go to actual developers from the area, which will help. He says there's $55 million in the recovery funds that look like they will be open grants. Okay, so more money coming.
Yeah, that is a part of this. This is the first round, so there will be other rounds of money being allotted and distributed to organizations and community.
I mean, that's what's up. Facebook user, I'm thinking this is Vaughn Chapman, says, I've watched as new people to a historically black community that was being revitalized call police on historic residents for everything from playing music at the car wash to sitting on their own porch or in their own apartment window. Even children playing with super soakers on the corner spraying cars, which has gone on every summer since the 90s. It's important to me that that awareness of this being a possibility is made.
Yeah. And it looks like it says Portland. They're talking about Portland. It's Miss Erica. It's Miss Erica. She's talking about Portland.
Got it.
She's talking about Portland again. Let us know. But that reminds me of DC. There's been reports in Washington DC around the Howard University area, which is a HBCU, historically quote unquote black community, not just the university, but the community that surround the communities that surround HBCUs are historically low income African American communities. There was reports of that area, like there were new residents, new implants in the community complaining about some of the go-go music. They actually try to shut down. If anyone who knows anything about DC, go-go music is kind of the heart and soul of DC culture, especially in those communities. And yeah, you had people complaining about go-go music playing throughout the night, although that's a part of the thing. You had people walking their dogs, allowing their dogs to defecate on the university lawns where students sit and study and play. Like, we don't see those things in North Omaha, so I will say
not yet.
And that's the point. Like, once we start seeing those things, then it's definitely gentrification. But I think at this point, with brothers like Manny Cook and the Forever North, which talk to people like Marcy Yates, had meetings at Omaha North with community members, like they those types of things. There's still hope.
Yeah, we're coming up on the 8 o'clock hour. If you believe in the concept of time, we got a whole nother hour to have some discussion, more things to talk about, more things to come. I think that we'll take a quick break and come back and talk a little bit more about these subjects. As you can see, very important to you. We do have an extensive HAPS that's coming up a little later on today, so get your HAPS ready as well. What it is that you got going on this weekend that you think we might need to shout out here on the show. Stay tuned, and we'll be right back to talk about that stuff. So thanks for joining us. Again, this is First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning. Paul B, Buddi3 Da Gawd, Star Trek Rich, all of you, the chat chimers, stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Good morning. First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
On the
mute
morning.
button.
On the mute button. Yeah, man.
Thanks for joining us. Welcome back. We are in deep discussions on a whole bunch of stuff. I just want to jump back into the chat real quick. Josh Tegg says, I wonder how many properties in North Omaha are in the hands of a very few, mostly slumlords. Probably a lot, because there's a lot of renters in North Omaha, and nothing wrong with the rent life. But that does lean towards, it's from the stuff that I've seen. It's a lot of renters, but it's also a lot of single homeowners or homeowners that have one or two houses. There's some old heads in Omaha that have been owning their property for a minute and won't give it up ever.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that kind of stuff going on. So yeah, it's a good question to kind of dive into and try to figure that out.
My grandpa.
Right, exactly, the family legacy stuff. Erica Fell says, I'm not concerned about hurt feelings in your concerns. Only facilitate the problem. Sprinkling crumbs in the North Omaha community while spending and fast tracking projects like Mutual of Omaha is troubling. Oh, that was Vaughn. Okay, see, you got me mixed up with these Facebook users. Brooks says, good morning from Zane. Good morning.
The dude.
Yeah, the dude. Appreciate you. Good morning, my man. Happy graduation. Zane, Zane, yeah, man. He graduated kindergarten, so that's what's up.
Moving on up.
that he is moving on up. I love it. So let's see what else we got going on here. Yeah, man, chat's going off. I really appreciate everybody chiming in on this. Wanda Lewis says, talking to Josh Tate, several of the slumlords live out of state as well. Omaha also continues to hire transients from other states for upper management positions throughout our community. I also know this,
that's what I wanted to transition into with this conversation, talking about gatekeepers.
Yeah.
The presence of gatekeepers, and also kind of how I ended before the break, talking about there's still hope. Facebook user, again, I don't know who you are, but Facebook user says, I saw a young man going down Fontenelle crossing Ames on a Segway. It's happening. talking about the gentrification and things like that. So
hey, I used to say there was a point in time when I was doing stuff down on 24th and Lake kind of area, and I would always see what I call the ponytail girls jogging, and it was just when you see them ponytails flying and jogging down 24th Street, you know something's up, something's going on.
Something's afoot. And man, to that point, Wanda Lewis also says, I'm not surprised that the building on 25th and Jones that was vacated due to coding violations was burned up. Seems to be the trending thing for property that wants to be obtained for development and purposes. So again, that's what I want to get into, is gatekeepers and kind of why some of these ideas and some of these things are happening. And going back to Brother Von Chapman's comment about, some of the development, as you said, 6 houses, a lot of the development on the north side. I mean, how long have they been working on 75 North for that? Like, that whole thing isn't done. Like, they're still adding things to 75 North, but true. Yet the Gene Leahy Mall is set to be done by July 1st.
And so be inaugurated with some good old country music,
man, which we'll get into a little later on. But you draw the comparison, and in this article, talking about revitalization versus gentrification, Brother Manny About Town kind of gets into it as far as the city not taking on some of the policies and some of the ideas that came out of the Forever North study. Again, the Forever North study is people from North Omaha coming together to come up with a study to develop themselves. And in this article, Manny is quoted saying, I've given it to the city 3 times. So it's really on them to enact some of those, because it's policy related on that level. Cook said occurrences like gentrification are twofold. There's investment and displacement. People typically have positive attitudes toward investment, according to Cook. He explained these investments do increase the quality of life in that area. He noted that they come with downside of increased taxes, which can create economic challenges. And there's actually a couple anti-displacement policies that are laid out in this article. One, of course, is tax abatements, as Manny mentioned, as far as stemming off some of the tax increases and tax hikes, which, as Brother Von Chapman alluded to earlier, a lot of these TIF projects that we're seeing, that's going to be the case in about 15 or 20 years. And again, whose shoulders will that fall on? And also housing rehab and preservation programs and things like that. So you add in the fact that the city isn't really listening to Brother Manny. Who owns this OIDC building? Why isn't that being sold? Some of the OIC building. You start to put these things together, and you see the full picture of there are some gatekeepers who are keeping North Omaha out of moving forward.
Now, we talked about this before. Some of these people we're calling gatekeepers are actually some black developers that are trying to keep Northside with people of color. And have done some work in those areas too. We always though keep on going back and hearing about Susie Buffett money coming through all the time as well.
Yep.
And from my experience, what I've seen is Sherwood Foundation money coming through that will help revitalize the situation and then turn it back over to whoever can afford, people in the neighborhood that can enter back into those buildings.
That's true investment.
Right, and I haven't studied every dollar that's come out of there and don't know where it's all going. But some of the things I've heard both. I've heard that they're buying up everything. I also heard that they're investing and trying to revitalize areas that people that are in those areas can continue to can get back to owning. In other words, so that's something else to do too. We always talk about that. One day we'll have to have somebody from Sherwood Foundation on and present them with all the questions that all the ones that have accumulated over the years that we've had, and that our co-hosts and chat chimers have had. So be interesting to talk to them. Manny About Town in the chat says we have a town hall next week on gentrification and affordable housing in North Omaha. Panelists are Justin Wayne, put some respect on his name, Matt Wynn from Flatwater, him himself, Manny About Town, and Angel Starks, real estate, and Juanita Johnson, councilwoman, put some respect on her name. Hosted by Preston Love, put some respect on his name. It's going to be a whole bunch of respect going on here at the Fabric Lab next Thursday at 6:00. So yeah, definitely come check it out. That's what I'm loving about what's happening over there on 24th and Lake. Really happy. The main thing I'm happy about in the Deuce right now is the Fabric Lab. Seems to be holding it down, having the conversations, and taking some of the action that needs to be taken over there. So shout out to Manny for putting that together.
Definitely. And this panel, man, is a powerful, not just a lot of respect, but a lot of power on this panel. From the city level with Councilwoman Juanita Johnson all the way up to the state level with Brother Justin Wayne. Hopefully some real conversation and some real stepping orders comes out of that town hall, because with the powers on the panel, some real things can get done.
Powers on the panel, the discussion that's happening, and the fact that there's money invested, there's money infused,
right,
might turn into some action. So love it. Brother Von Chapman says you don't have to rent. You don't have rent control in Omaha, so market rate will price renters out of the rental market. It's gonna be a long time before they have rent control places in Nebraska, bro.
Yeah, of course, especially with again, the gatekeepers, man. A lot of property owners live outside of North Omaha. A lot of property owners live outside of Omaha in Nebraska, period. I've heard several people tell me that their landlord lives in California or New York or Florida or somewhere, just chilling on the beach and just owns multiple properties and never going to sell them, that type of deal. So
it sounds like the life, to be honest, but that's kind of rough. At one point I wouldn't mind owning a few houses in my hometown that way. You know what I'm saying?
But that's your hometown. These are just property owners, people. These are just investors, people who just buy up property, probably have never been to the community, don't know any demographics, any characteristics of the community. They just saw cheap property, heard that property in Omaha, Nebraska might be cheap, so they bought it up. There's even blank lots and empty lots that are owned by people who live out, and some of those are why communities aren't being developed as well, because a lot of these empty lots are owned by people who they just owning the property and might collect the taxes every once in a while, or might cut down the trees every once in a while. But as far as affordable housing, as far as adding to the value of the community, none of that.
Yep, Brother Valentine brings a good point. Right along those lines, he says owning a home property requires more than just having money. Focus needs to be on credit restorations, record expungements, and job opportunities. So just buying a house ain't that's not all that needs to happen here for sure.
And that takes us to the next topic, man. Ooh, I love that segue because again, this whole conversation is for not if people don't have jobs.
Yeah.
This whole conversation is for not. No matter how many millions get invested into the community, how many trees get planted, how much you take up and redo the sidewalk. If people don't have any jobs, they're not even going to be in a mental space to even see that stuff.
And people can have jobs. We talking about jobs that are paying a living wage that will allow you to be able to pay the bills and even end up having some ownership at some point. So there's a whole bunch of jobs out there, but not but we're talking about jobs that will give you a living wage.
That part. So there's actually an article out of inc.com that says how to build the workplace for the future, develop more on ramps for Black and brown kids. Apparently data journalist and The Plug founder Cheryl Dorsey is a shining example of the impact on early STEM education, which we've seen a lot and have heard a lot about the investment in STEM, especially in low income and marginalized communities. Big shout out to Girl Code, which is a coding organization that She Code, thank you, that I learned about at the Malcolm X Memorial Foundation. She was housed there, but I moved on, and she does things with educating young girls on coding and things like that. Those types of efforts, even Councilwoman Juanita Johnson has been adamant and actually ran. One of her campaign points was STEM and bringing our youth in the community into that. And when Cheryl Dorsey, according to the article, was growing up in Seattle in the 1990s, she didn't have many Black and brown business leaders to look up to, but she did have one, her aunt, Auntie Monica. Auntie Monica was a local salon owner whom everyone called Auntie Monica. She took an interest in young Dorsey, and as a teenager, Dorsey helped her auntie around the salon. But more than pocket money, Dorsey, who is now a 35-year-old founder and CEO of Atlanta-based news and insights website, The Plug, she says she gained the entrepreneurial insights that would serve her later in life. She went on to say Auntie Monica's salon was not the next Facebook, but it provided a grounding experience for so many so-called Black girls. These sorts of early learning opportunities really come from business owners who hire young people who are already in their community. And that practice will help lift up marginalized communities for generations to come. We need to build the workforce of the future and to have a better future. And that's the key message she hopes will resonate with readers of her site. Again, The Plug, as well as her new book, Upper Hand, The Future of Work for the Rest of Us, which is a treatise on marginalized communities and navigating the new world of work, in addition to musings on how Silicon Valley is systematically slashing jobs in Black and Latinx population through the constant hum or automation and other technology. The book highlights companies or programs that get it right. So kind of in light of Tesla being pulled out out of the of the good list, it definitely is worth looking into organizations that get it right. And I definitely agree that again, on ramping minorities, quote unquote, and people from low income marginalized communities will change the game. Will change the game.
Yeah, that's interesting stuff, man. That's funny that you said about Tesla. I've been reading so much about Elon Musk. His new position. He's going Republican and the whole nine. And you was right. And so we said if he buys Twitter, which is still on the table. I just read an article about how they Twitter up, people up high told the employees, nah, it's still on the table, and it didn't get taken off the table. They're still working through this sale. And like you said, the first thing he's gonna do is let Trump come on
Oh
Now
yeah.
that he's over here talking about he's turning Republican, and then I'm quite sure he's going to do that. So it's kind of interesting, man. I got a lot of friends that felt like Tesla was a company they wanted to join and get into. People are not just looking for jobs that are going to pay them well, but they're also looking for jobs that they feel they want to support
They're
and have some
fulfilled
time,
in.
yeah, fulfilled in, and also, that's not attached to a whole bunch of mess. Those have to pay more than $22 an hour. Like Brother Valentine saying, how many jobs paying 22 plus are accessible in North Omaha? It's a good
And he
question.
says, for the most part, most of us making 22 plus are commuting into North Omaha. So again, what hope is there for the community, and how do you build up
Oof.
those within the community to build up the community itself? And we've
Wow.
talked about this mass exodus. We talked about as you called it, the Great Resignation. But I would like to add in an element to this movement and to the situation. I know a lot of y'all have seen these kiosks and these machines popping up, not just in Walmart, but now, fast food restaurants. I mean, those low level service jobs that a lot of people in North Omaha would usually get are being phased out by technology. And that's kind of one of the things that Ms. Dorsey here in this article is urging people to get into STEM. She says at age 14, she started taking technology courses through a program called Technology Access Foundation, which is a Seattle-based STEM education nonprofit. And through that, she interned at Microsoft all the way through high school, which led to her being a data journalist. So she kind of does similar to what Brother Matt Wynn does, as far as digging into the numbers, digging into the weeds of the numbers, and pulling out stories and pulling out information. And her passion is about covering the Black innovation economy and ensuring that marginalized people, particularly so-called Black and brown communities, can equitably access opportunity in the tech world. This is why I point out, when we talk about education, the fact that students at District 66 and Westside community schools, they've had Apple computers for years,
Right.
decades now. OPS students just got tablets, and
And
a lot
only
of them
because
didn't know how to use them.
and only because of the pandemic.
Exactly. So again, you add all of these things.
Yeah.
You got to look at the full picture.
Wanda Lewis says developer Carmen Tapio came from St. Louis. No one is complaining about that. Well, she came here and put some jobs together. she made some moves. Yeah, it's interesting. Like for somebody that's even interesting to me, for somebody that's from another place and coming here and seeing a need and coming and hooking some things up. She has a tech company here in North Omaha, one of the biggest in Nebraska. Is winning awards all around the country for these businesses.
I mean, think about it, man.
And
Think
I
about
mean,
it.
I remember hearing about she sends buses out to pick up employees,
Yeah.
healthcare, medical, all the stuff, decent wages. She found a way to do it, so can be done. Pop says if he allows Trump back on the Twitter, I'm off Twitter for life. Also, I'm not buying those 15 Teslas I was going to buy next week.
15
Well, Pops,
Teslas.
look here now. You might have to
Let me hold
rethink that,
something.
because I know that if you was going to buy 15 Teslas, one of them's going to be mine, and so you might have to rethink that.
I'm saying, let me hold something. Let me borrow $1.
Yeah, it's a mess, Pops. Like he announced that he was a Democrat. Now he's going to be voting Republican, and watch all the backlash that's going to happen to me now, and all these moves he's making. He's a nut. Brother Muhammad says, how are we going to educate the children in OPS with the existing cabal housed at 32nd and Cumming streets?
I believe that's where the 75 North project. No, that's 32nd and Corby. What are you
yeah.
talking about? What's going on at 32nd and Cumming?
Yeah, let us know. Wanda Lewis says seems too stagnant on the local.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I was going to say. As far as, think about it, like, you're not from Omaha. You have connection to Omaha, but you're not necessarily from Omaha.
Right.
For me, quite honestly, I had to leave Omaha for 5 years and go to Florida and go to a new school to come back to Omaha to feel like I'm capable of actually giving back to my community.
Right.
So there is something I just don't think there's not a lot of hope in Omaha. So for people to grow up, especially in North Omaha, for people to grow up in North Omaha, you know, it's just something to be said about the Terrell McKinneys. You know, the Marcy Yates, and even Marcy, he spent time in Arizona for some, you know, he went to school out in Arizona. So it almost seems like you have to leave Omaha to or be away from to be out of that oppression, to feel like you can do something to raise yourself up. So, you know, going back to as far as building on ramping for quote unquote Black and brown communities, I am excited to see, like, unfortunately, West Side talking about hiring, you know, training student teachers from within. I would like to see that in OPS. I would like to see more training from within the community. That's why I talk about brain drain so much, because this is a result. There's no hope in Omaha. You have to leave Omaha in order to come back and feel like you can do something and see the opportunity.
Makes sense. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing either. I think it makes sense. And that's just how things work. You got to kind of go out and see another way of living. Get out of any hometown. Any person in any hometown needs to leave their hometown to see what's going on in the world and come back and either apply it or decide that's not for them.
I don't agree with that. You look at Atlanta. You look at Atlanta. You don't have to leave Atlanta to get inspired, to get ideas.
I don't know.
I know Omaha and Atlanta is two different things.
Find an Atlanta cat that's been born and raised in Atlanta and see and you know see how they feel. You're transplanted to Atlanta and seeing all the benefits. Find a cat that was born and raised in Atlanta and see if he thinks the same way. He might have had to get out and see something else too and come back and build Atlanta up like it is.
That's true.
Most people that are moving and shaking in Atlanta, I guarantee you, are transplants and people that came from other places or people that were born and raised there that left and came back. It's a different mentality. So, yeah, man. Lots more to talk about on that. And I like where you're going with this. Brother Valentine says having job opportunities and having job opportunities paying a livable wage are different. Lots of jobs going on right now. That's what everybody will tell you. There's a whole bunch of, even McDonald's is paying $20 an hour or something crazy, you know, like 18, I guess they're paying. There's a lot of jobs, but you got a future with those jobs? First of all, they're paying you a living wage with those jobs. Second of all, is it taking you anywhere to have those? Interesting stuff. 8:23, if you believe in the concept of time, let's take a quick break and come back and jump into some more subjects. Again, we're going to have an extensive HAPS in about 20 minutes, so stay tuned for that and get your HAPS together in order to let us know what's going on, what we need to be bigging up this weekend. Be interesting to see. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Oh, by the way, just want to say hi again to Zane. Zane said he misses me. I miss you too, buddy. We're going to hang out. We'll see each other tomorrow and hang out a little bit for sure. And also, congratulations again on your kindergarten, graduation. Straight out of
kindergarten. Hey, I like that. I like that Black Panther display too. That's dope.
Man, yeah, his room was hooked up. I'm kind of like wanting to move in there.
Yeah, I'm a little jelly.
Like, can I get a room like that, please? That's what's up. Shout out to Zane. That's what's happening. Appreciate you. We'll take a quick break and come right back. Stay tuned. First Sky Omaha Radio. First Sky Omaha in the morning. Paul B, Buddi3 Da Gawd, Star Trek Rich. Don't go nowhere. In the morning. Hey. Welcome back. First Sky Omaha in the morning. First Sky Omaha. Paul B, Buddi3 Da Gawd, Star Trek Rich. Man, chat's going off. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. Thanks for everybody that has stuck with us this far. 8:25. You believe in the concept of time. The Haps is coming up in about 15 minutes, so stay tuned for that. Lots to talk about today. Don't forget, it is Fry Bread Friday.
Hey.
I'm gonna just remind y'all throughout the show, man. Definitely go check out what brother Lavelle Wells has going on, because he's doing a fundraiser for the good work that he's doing over there, and he's doing it with food, man. You know, food is the shortest distance between the. I'm not gonna get into that cliche.
Yeah, you messed that one up.
Yeah.
I know where you're trying to go.
Where I'm going though. It's close to my heart. I'm planning my whole day out around the food, so that's what it is. So that's what it is. But yeah, definitely check him out today. 11 o'clock, he's going to be selling until it sells out. Again, he's partnered up. So there is pozole with fried bread and all kinds of stuff, man. Caramel banana pudding, Indian tacos, all that. Yeah, it's going down. Well, I'm going to have to get, like I said, I'm a single man. I'm going to get 7 plates. Take one home, put in the fridge, dinner later.
Gotta rack up.
That's what it is. Joining us in the chat, there's so many things that people are talking about here. I believe, let's just read this one first. It says Facebook user again. We had everything in Oakland Bay. Okay, that's Erica. Miss Erica Felt. We had everything in Oakland Bay, but those that visited the East Coast or elsewhere came back doing even more. That's what I'm saying. I'm a fan of seeing the country, Z and world. And I thought I knew it all because I traveled the States, but then lived in Canada. Adjust your paradigm. That's the real.
Definitely.
That's the real.
Definitely.
It's not just seeing the other states, bro. It's like going to other countries, seeing how other people live, seeing how other things are done, and coming up with some solutions.
Definitely all about people leaving to educate themselves, to enrich themselves culturally, and coming back to bring that back to the communities from which they came. But there's also something to be said about there being opportunities in that community and people not having to do that. True. Like that's a difference. That's a difference.
That's true. Yeah.
And again, I felt personally like I had to leave in order to come back or to find opportunities and to get myself in a mental space. And I think that's the issue. There's nothing wrong with people leaving and coming back to enrich the community. But if that's the only option, that's a problem.
That's tough. Wanda Lewis says, I don't understand why 24th and Lake Street area looks the way it does, with some structures boarded up for 16 years or more. Those that own those properties should be forced to relinquish them for the betterment of the community. Interesting thing you stated there. I got in town in 2010, and one of the first things I did was look for spots around the Deuce, and could not find who owned them, could not get no information on them. They stayed boarded up for years and years and years, and the first time I'm hearing anything about them being unboarded is now with the that new team that got put together. The 3 ladies that are going around doing stuff in North Omaha, Juanita Johnson, Carmen Tapio, and Sister Kuntz. I can't remember her name. She owns the construction company.
Yeah.
So they have been doing some developing, and I've heard that there's going to be some buildings finally opening up there, but for years could not find out even who owned them. People just sitting on them for various reasons. I've heard various reasons throughout the years. So that white folks don't get them is one of the ones I heard. So that we're waiting on the right business to come in, which seems to be a trend out here. We just talked about those properties up on 72nd in the Target parking lot. They've been sitting there for 15 years vacant.
Even the bays at 75 North. Those are bays not
right. Here we are years later after that's been built, just now getting to the greenhouse there. So it is what it is. Josh Tate says, Omaha Symphony season finale this weekend. DM me if you want to come tonight or tomorrow. First 2 tickets on the house.
Hey,
there you go. Some free tickets to the symphony, man. Hey, are they doing the Star Wars things? Because if they doing if this is the Star Wars night, I might have to go check that out, bro. Ooh. Let me know on that.
Yeah, sounds like a good time.
Yep. Facebook user, as a native of Omaha, I am very disappointed that the Omaha Star, under its current management, has gone from the voice of the Black community to copy center. What happened? Okay. I kind of
if he's still in here.
Yeah, Miss Sanders, are you still here? For sure. But I kind of feel like it still is doing that work and just adding some services to it with that. I mean, if you know how hard it is to keep a news organization together, then you do what you. I might start licking envelopes myself around here just to keep talking.
Uh,
So yeah, we definitely want to prop up our paper and do what we can do to help if there's a need there for sure. If people feeling like that, because they're part of this news group that we got together too. So we definitely want to make sure that we support the Omaha Star more than anything else. So let's give me some solutions on how to do that if you feel like it's falling out of step.
yeah, and I will say it's hard to run a news organization when not a lot of people willing to write out there.
Not writing no writers, not a whole lot of readers, and especially not reading actual papers.
Yeah.
So yeah, but they got some 2.0 and 3.0 going over there too. The website's different now.
Yep.
They trying to make moves in step with everything else. So I've been on the back end of that too, and saw how like cats like John Houston and other cats have been really trying to make sure that stays alive, and then bringing on TD Sanders. You know what I'm saying? Like keeping the paper alive in the Black community. It is there, and everything that we are doing it needs some improvement, of course. And if we can come with that and support and help, then great. Brooks says, I get the Omaha Star. I've been enjoying the content lately. Okay. Yeah,
There
content
you
has
go.
definitely changed up some. Definitely changed up some from when I first got in town as well. Interesting. Definitely check out Omaha Star. Anyway, moving on. We're getting limited on time here. 8:32 right now, if you believe in that concept, and you're keeping track of time. Got a few more things we definitely want to jump into. Facebook uses all the ladies mentioned with exception of Councilwoman Johnson are all underwritten by Sherwood Foundation. Yes. And again, we need to discuss whether or not whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. I've heard both. So, there's money. Is there money available? Are they able to do things with that money that help with that underwriting? It's a good question. Brother Valentine says creating a journalism academy that employs young people to document North Omaha and rebuild the workforce of media. Yep, I
Those
believe some of
conversations,
that's.
those conversations are being had.
Yeah, I think
And
some of that's going on now. Actually,
yeah. Yeah. Actually, Paul, did you get that email?
I did. I did get the email. Yeah.
Okay. Remember, we spoke with Miles Davis of Noise. They
Right.
already have started their academy. Of course, we had a citizen journalism seminar, and people were interested in that in the early days of First Sky.
Right.
So yeah, those conversations are being had, and those efforts are being organized, but we still got to find the young people willing to do it. You know what I mean? So if you know anyone who's even interested slightly in that, that's what it's about, is recruiting from within and building up our community. So yeah.
And apparently, you don't even really have to be a journalist. You just have to know how to write. They will help you. They'll go in and they'll do some editing and things like that for you in order for you to just kind of get the thought out, get the piece out, and some firsthand training there on how to report on your situation around you. So you just got a general interest and know how to write a sentence. Hit up Noise because they're there to put it together now.
Right, and that's kind of the interesting thing about what it is that we do, and that's one thing that stuck with me. And going through school and becoming a quote unquote journalist, I didn't necessarily need a degree to be a journalist. It just, the degree made me better at that. But this is one of the only professions that's directly and explicitly protected by the Constitution. I mean, you have freedom of the press, you have the right, freedom of speech, you have the right to say and print what you want. Now, if you're wrong or you don't do your due diligence, then you fall into libel and defamation, and you got to be held accountable for what it is that you say. But everyone should feel empowered to be able to have their voices be heard.
Very true. Very true. Brother Valentine says, with this structure, I have a lot of money available that would pay for the training and wages needed to incorporate social media, web design, and multimedia, etc. New media. We are all about the new media and think that is the most important aspect of being able to have that voice. So I'm there with you for sure. And as a training provider, there's a good profit margin for the organization. Let's have some conversations with Noise. Let's team up on some of this and maybe be able to offset some costs and bring some folks in, actually get them paid, and still do the work of turning them into journalists.
Yeah,
So
I mean, Noise, the Reader, us,
yeah.
First Sky,
Yep.
Flatwater. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's opportunity out there.
Definitely. Everybody's looking too. I talked to Miss Chambers because the Ernie Chambers channel and those things are happening over there, and she said the same thing. If you can find people of color to write to report, let me know. I was like, well, sis, we all looking for that at this point. So every there's a lot of organizations out here. This big family of even Omaha Star too, big family of alternative press that we're not even really calling alternative anymore. We're just press.
Right.
And everybody is looking for, especially people of color, to write and report. So,
which kind of brings me back to the development and investment in North Omaha with LB 1024. We spoke to Senator Terrell McKinney, put some respect on his name on Friday, and he talked about the Innovation Hub and the Incubation Center. I definitely think there's opportunities out there. There's people trying to do stuff. I think the community can definitely benefit from some sort of career center, a central hub where you can go like, hey, I'm interested in media, I'm interested in this, and it, just a blank interest, and like, hey, these people are doing this, you should contact them. And I know there are certain staffing centers and things like that can get you serving at a banquet or something like that, but I'm talking about real careers.
Yeah,
not
I
just a
like
job.
that. You just gave me a vision of this whole like hands-on
That's what
convention
it is.
style joint.
That's what we need. That's what we need.
Come touch this camera real quick, and you know what I'm saying. Sitting like, yeah, and then get a job right from there.
That's how you engage the youth. And to kind of wrap up this organization or this article about, again, how do you build a workplace of the future and having more on-ramping for marginalized communities. Again, this lady says large corporations should continue to offer opportunities for marginalized communities to make tech specifically more equitable space through internships and apprenticeships, and small businesses should take the time to mentor and train the young people of color in their community. So exactly what we're talking about. So brother Valentine, definitely need to tap in with you. But even if any of you who have an organization, any of you who have a business, I know some of you have childcare facilities. Are you training people who do babysitting? How do we feed this? How do we feed this and work with each other and not wait on and rely on investment from the state, not wait on and rely on the gatekeepers and city council to approve our ideas? How do we rely on each other?
Well, first things first, we can't take away this idea that there are resources out there, and we need to have the skills to be able to get those resources, and then put those resources to use. We had brother Alvarado that came through here recently to talk about how he franchised his restaurant so fast in the course of over 10, 12 years. And he really got impressed upon me that whatever it is we do, we got to learn how to scale. And we can use funds and use investment funds to be able to do that and learn how to scale these types of things and build business and train the next generation, train the next franchisers. You know what I'm saying? You can break that out and then train them and start some new and the whole process of franchising your ideas. So I think it's a pretty interesting thing. Also, I wanted to say one thing too about Brother Valentine. We've been looking at trying to figure out how to get some youth to help us here at First Sky Omaha. One of the problems is that there's not. He doesn't have Brother Valentine has got a line of kids that's just waiting on jobs. Like, we actually got to go out and do the work of finding individuals that are interested in what it is that we're doing, and then he can plug them in to be able to get paid and go through the program and work. But us as a business, first we got to lay out what that job description is, what it is that we would have them do, and even go out and try to find folks that are interested or reach out to people that have reached out to us that are interested, and then he can get them plugged in. But that's one of the things there too, is we got to remember, if you know kids and from 19 to 25, so young folks out there and they're doing and they want to have a different idea, send them our way, send them to these other places, because there's opportunities out there, but we also need to kind of reach out directly to the kids. I like your idea, buddy, of like having that convention style employment joint where you go around and you see the industries and touch the equipment of the industries and also can get a job right there. I think that's genius.
That's what we need. That's what we need.
Brother Muhammad says in the chat, the youth cannot read, write, nor do math currently. How can we help? I know your point is to tighten up OPS so that the school system will allow us to have a little bit better education for them in order to even get to the point where they can take jobs and so on. You said some stuff in the chat earlier about the cabal on 32nd and so on. I kind of skipped over those comments right there because I would like you to instead of calling the space out that way, let's have some real discussion on what's lacking over there, what can be done, and so on and so forth. Because I think it might have confused people with what it is that you were talking about there. So let's definitely talk more and get into that. I see in the chat you says youth cannot read, write, or do math currently. Yeah, how do we help them? We'll definitely talk about that all the time. Like, we're always talking about that, especially with as many people that ran for school board here. Some of the solutions that we could do there, but even individuals and parents and people that know young people, it's about their motivation. A lot of them,
Right.
a lot of them are reading, writing, and doing everything. They just are not motivated to do it for the reasons that they're given in school sometimes too. I mean, Brother Muhammad actually taught me that. So, how if they don't see themselves in it, they don't see a benefit in themselves, why would they be interested in the first place? Well, job opportunities and things like that might be the incentive for that. If they're into something, if they're into, wanting to be on the news or be a cameraman for in our case, media, then that might be something that is worth it for them to jump on and check out. Brother Valentine says, Noise, Flatwater Free Press, Omaha Star newspaper. Let's figure out how to connect to get this moving. I fully agree with that. He says, I have $3 million this year to spend on trainings and wages.
Man,
the funds are there. The people who are helping the situation out are there. Wanda
but
Lewis
again,
says,
just got to connect the dots. Like he said, he needs the outreach team.
Yeah, has to be connected. So like I said, we will say that all the time here on this show too. If you know young folks that are looking for something, or young folks that need something that you can push them to look for, definitely. That you see, there's resources there. There's things that can happen. They can write their own checks, man. They can choose what they want to get into,
Man,
and support black businesses, support business in their neighborhoods in the meantime as well, and get some training, not just a job. How many jobs can you get where you get training and a check? Not a lot.
Not a lot. That part.
Wanda Lewis says we need to start focusing on homeschooling with everything that's going on OPS. Utilize some of these teachers that are walking out the door. I
There
agree.
you go.
I think, us. We're very, very big advocates on homeschooling for sure. Valentine says, but some good news. I just got approved for more funding to build a street outreach team. Just signed the paperwork for 125 G's.
Yeah. There you go.
As we speak, it's coming through. It's coming through. So youth outreach stuff, we definitely want to hook that up, man. I'm telling you, buddy, your idea is genius on that one. We got to get down. We got to get down.
We need it. It's a central hub for people to go, because I'll be talking to these young people, man, young brothers and sisters in the community. They don't know where to go. They just know, they hear from their peers who's hiring and who's paying $15 an hour. And I had to talk to a young brother when I was in Omaha this last time. Like, bro, think of a career that you want to do. These jobs ain't gonna get you anywhere. These dead end jobs. Once you start feeling the pressure of working 16 hours a day, you know what I'm saying? Just once you get running on that rat wheel, that money is not going to be enough. It's already not enough.
Right.
So at least find you a career.
The young cats that I know are working, and they're working 2-3 jobs, and they working at the plastics company in the middle of the night, and then they get up and they go do something else, and they're stacking their cash. That the ones that are working like that and trying to put these little $12-13 an hour jobs all together to make some kind of bread. So like what point them to and it could just be because they're not getting pointed to a path. It could, that could very well just be that. Like, look, bro, you got 3 jobs at, $13 an hour. Don't you? How about looking at this where you can make 30 an hour with one job, 1 8-hour day, and do something that's got a future. Tough
Might be
stuff.
a little idealistic, but I'm definitely a believer that once everybody is doing something that is truly in their heart and doing something in their purpose, everything's gonna fall into place.
Yeah. Facebook user says, are there children in the local schools, OPS, who are journalists in journalism should be contacted and incorporated in career opportunities using funds for Brother Valentine? Could
That's
be.
the
Not
question.
not really sure about OPS. That's the question. I spent a lot of time in Metro, went to Metro, worked at Metro. There was no journalism program in Metro. I knew that anything I had to do in journalism had to go to UNO to do. There was barely any English writing or anything classes in Metro.
Yeah,
So
and there's also been some conversation about the difficulties of getting community organizations and community programs in OPS. Period.
yeah. Brooke Allen says homeschooling is a great option, but most parents can't homeschool because they have work. Unfortunately, it's a luxury.
Yep.
So at the same time, I love holding both ideas in mind. Figure out how the homeschooling and alternative school can work. Also, make OPS work like it needs to work while your kids are in it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Got to do both. 8:47 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, this has been a very deep discussion on this
Yeah.
subject here. Maybe we can do a little lightning round before we get to the haps, which I wanted to spend a little bit more time on this show here. So,
Yeah.
lightning round on some stuff that we didn't get to.
Man, definitely not necessarily connected to the conversation that ruled the day, but something worth discussing and letting be known. An update in the George Floyd cases and trials. Again, those officers still on trial, still facing charges, and now the latest update. Former Minneapolis police officer Thomas Lane has reportedly reached a plea deal and has pled guilty in the manslaughter and killing of George Floyd. The guilty plea comes a week before the 2-year anniversary of Floyd's death. Man, it's been 2 years
It's
already.
crazy, man.
Yeah. And as a part of the plea deal, a count of aiding and abetting second degree unintentional murder against Thomas Lane will be dismissed. Also, Lane and former officers J. Alexander Kong and Tao Tao have already been convicted on federal counts of willfully violating Mr. Floyd's rights during the restraint that ultimately led to his death. And then also Tao and Kong still face state charges, and they are set to go back on trial in June. So they are currently free. Actually, they remain free on bond as they await trial. So they are walking around here freely. But how long will that be the case? We don't know.
It's not. Yeah, I'm sure they're worried now after this latest
Yeah.
development.
Yeah, I think the fact that this guy pled guilty is very interesting. It's very
Yeah,
interesting and kind of ominous for the other two.
most definitely.
Yeah. In other news, we've alluded to this, but Gene Leahy Mall and their aggressive return again is set for July 1st, and they are kicking off this massive renovation and the celebration of the new amphitheater with, of course, some good old country music. Country music artist Brett Eldredge
Who?
will perform in it. Eldredge.
Who?
You tell me, man. You tell me. But apparently, he will be performing in the Gene Leahy Mall on July 2nd, the second night of a 4-day celebration, according to a press release from the Riverfront.
I'm trying to say about that.
Yeah.
Hey, that's great.
It's not a surprise. I kind of jokingly mentioned and called it before the show. Omaha is going to be like the country capital.
Well, we called it. We talked about all these huge amphitheaters and things that's being built down there by the Gene Leahy Mall and next to the Holland. And we're like, how many 3,000, 4,000 seat places do you need? It's not a music town. And we said the only thing they can do is bring in a bunch of country stars in, and
Yeah.
they are laying it out for who they want to be here, bro. That's what it is.
That's just what it is.
And no shade to anybody who listens to country music on here, but country music and white folks is a whole thing. You can act like it ain't.
Yeah, no,
If you
I
want to.
DJ'd a few barn house weddings, and Just say my country collection has gotten quite extensive.
What?
Yeah, man. Yeah. It's a couple joints. It's a couple, it's a couple joints.
See, here
But
you go, bro. Here
yeah,
you go.
yeah.
We're gonna have to put you in some therapy now. You
Oh
got some.
man, it's a couple joints, man.
Oh
It's
man, the ear pollution has struck. Come on, man. Come on, bro.
I'm not saying I'll be at the amphitheater celebration on the second, but it's a couple joints. That's all. I like
Well,
music
if
is
it's
music.
old Hank Williams Sr. or one of them kind of cats, Patsy Cline, I'm kind of with it a little bit, but
Yeah.
these new cats, bro, I don't know.
Nah. You can miss me with that.
And Dolly, of course, man. Come on, Dolly Parton is a legend.
Yeah,
What's going on?
yeah.
She said, "If it ain't Dolly, it makes my tooth hurt." That sounds like that's Eric
All
Phelps.
right, man. All right.
Yeah,
But
man.
other than that, man, that's all I have. Of course, I have a couple of haps.
Okay.
So yeah, go ahead and
Let's
kick this
go
thing
on,
off
get
right.
into it. Then there it is. This ain't no country music. Dolly gets down to it.
It's that phone.
Ladies and gentlemen, time for the haps. This is the time in the show when we talk about the things that we think you ought to be checking out. What's happening? What's going on this weekend? Also, time for you to let us know what you're doing this weekend too. If it's anything of note, some things we need to shout out. Lots going on. Of course, today it's all about food day. It's Food Friday for me. It's going down.
A little more happening than the food. Yes, there will be food throughout the day. But as we kicked off today's show, I would like to sort of round back around to it because 97 years to the day yesterday, Malcolm X, born Malcolm Little, was born at University Hospital in Omaha. His the Little family, of course, led by the Honorable Reverend Earl Little. Lived at 3448 Pinckney Street, which is significant because that is the location where the Malcolm X Memorial celebration will continue today. Again, it kicked off yesterday with the luncheon and speaking and words from Sister Karen Wells, the mother of Amir Locke. Yeah. Also, Brother Bobby Seale and Gus Newport, former Black Panther members, were in attendance as well. So again, if you were in attendance at that, I'm jealous. I'm jealous because we definitely missed that one. But again, if you missed it, also there will be other opportunities for the next several days. Again, today will be tours, exhibits, and also a Freestyle Friday. So if you want to hear some bars, definitely show up and show out. Also, OPO Youth Reading Tours, North Dance Exhibit, and other exhibits going on until the 22nd. So definitely make sure you come out to 3448 Evans Street at the Malcolm X Memorial Foundation and join the celebration of one of Omaha's greatest members or residents. So that's going on. Also, of course, we've been talking about the fried bread. Shout out to Brother Wells Lavelle, who will be having his fried bread fundraiser today. Say that 5 times fast.
Indian taco fundraiser.
Yeah, man, that'll be going on at the Center Mall. It was at 1941 South 42nd Street, 4th floor, room 402G. Get you some pozole with fried bread, Indian tacos with everything.
Lord of mercy.
Pudding. You even get you some combos, man. So again, there's also pre-orders available. You can call 402-216-1953 for pre-order. If you don't really have time, you can just go and pick it up.
And not only are you going to get this good food you can't get nowhere else, but remember, it's for a good cause. This brother is raising funds to be able to pay for his space where he does a whole lot of work and having conversations and bringing Black and brown communities together with Native communities and just a lot of work in general for everybody, man. He's a brother who's really doing the work out here and giving back to the community. So let's support him. And even if you can't make it over there to get some food, drop some loot. Drop some loot on him.
Give me the loot.
Give him the loot. He's a bad man.
Man. Also coming up in a couple weeks, actually, early June, will be the walk in remembrance of Brother Zachary Berryhills. Again, this will follow the path that Zachary took that fateful day, starting at the Greyhound station at 1601 Jackson Street, and then following the route all the way up to the Buc-ee's gas station, where a vigil will take place to remember Zachary and call out police brutality. A big shout out to Justice for Zachary Bear Hills, Great Plains Action Society, Nebraska Stand Collective, Bluebird Cultural Initiative, and grassroots volunteers for all coming together to create this beautiful celebration. Again, the 5th annual prayer walk and vigil. Zachary lives forever in our hearts. So again, rest easy to brother Zachary Bear Hills, and big shout out to everyone who organized that event.
For sure.
Speaking of organizing, we have the Poor People's Campaign coming up.
Hey.
That organization is going on right now. If you're interested in that and continuing the work of the Honorable Dr. Reverend Martin Luther King Jr., put some respect on his name, who again was working on and building up the poor people's movement and fighting for workers' rights when he was ultimately assassinated in Memphis. And now, if you would like to honor the work that he was doing, we can pick it up on June 18th with the Moral March on Washington. Again, if you're interested in more information or would like to get involved in these organizing campaigns, you can check out poorpeoplescampaign.org. Again, that's poorpeoplescampaign.org.
Yep. That's what's up. I'm looking at the chat. Yeah, I'm looking at the chat right now. We got a couple things. Katie L says tonight at 5 p.m. is the kickoff of the Dina's Place Highlander Accelerator free outdoor concert series.
Okay.
Featuring the Toast, our dude Andrew Bailey over there playing at 7 p.m. So if you want to hear chill outside, hear a little good music, and support that, then definitely go check it out. Dina's Place free outdoor concert series at the Highlander tonight. Also, somebody, I'm trying to see what they were talking about up here. Brooke says, I haven't heard that, but thanks for mentioning. I'll go check it out today. I try to expose the children to all kinds of music, even if it's not exactly enjoying it. If you're not exactly enjoying it. Oh, she says, I like that Low Places song by Garth Brooks. See, Brooks, see.
Yeah.
Y'all get out of here.
Get
out of here with that, man.
A few more haps in the chat. I'm trying to go back and find them.
Somebody going to the Warriors basketball game today. So
probably El Crefeld.
Yeah, most likely. I got a couple more things coming up, man. You heard it here first, bro. Terrace Martin's coming to town. Terrace Martin is coming to town. Tickets are not on sale yet. We're working on that today. But just mark the date, June 5th. You're gonna have a legend in town, bro, with his father, who was a legend, Curly Martin. And they're bringing out a special guest, the Martin Family Trio. This is an Allen Showcase group event as well, bro. We're representing the old school Allen Showcase where these two brothers played in the past and all that good stuff. So you don't want to miss this. Terrace is like out playing with Robert Glasper and Erykah Badu and all these people right now. You're gonna break off and come to town and bless the stage over at Benson Theater. So definitely check that out. Also, the tickets are on sale now is the reunion Verbal Gumbo with Love Felicia is coming back to town in order to have this show co-hosted with Michelle Troxler. If you used to go to Verbal Gumbo back in the day at the House of Loom, then you know what this is. It's going down. So the reunion's happening Thursday, June 16th at the Benson Theater. As you can see, we're trying to do some things over there, man, on the real. Also, our partners over here at Afro Capes and Curls, Steampunk Tea Party. Mark your date on that, June 18th, 2022, 3 to 7. And that's going to be at the NOMA building now. Previously, Mama called them Loves Jazz. We're going to call them Loves Jazz. Loves Jazz building in 2510 North 24th Street. Steampunk Tea Party by the House of Afro Capes and Curls, who brings you AfroCon every year. So definitely check them out. Lots going on there. And man, Afro Omaha is doing a thing too, and I forgot to get the flyer for that with the time frames and everything. Yeah, the festival's coming up. Festival's definitely coming up.
Yeah, they do that every June, if I'm not mistaken.
Right. So yeah, that's coming. No, it's not June. It was a little later on the year. It was too hot in June one year. They moved it to like September or something. We'll get the date for you and come back on that for sure.
Yeah, I think I was actually out there during that June one. It was baking. It was pretty hot out there.
It was like, look, we from Africa and everything, but this is ridiculous.
Yeah, man.
Before we get out of here, Trekkie words of wisdom from Weberized Starfleet Daily Meditation today. Given a chance between slim and none, I'll take slim any day. That's William Riker, first officer on the Starship Enterprise underneath Jean-Luc Picard. William Riker says, given a chance between slim and none, I'll take slim every day. I heard that.
There you go.
Same here. We gonna
Also, before
go ahead.
real quick, again, next week, on Thursday, big shout out to Manny About Town, the Gentrification Town Hall with Justin Wayne, Matt Wynn, Manny Charles, Angel Stark, and Juanita Johnson will be at the Fabric Lab. So definitely look out for that. Also North Omaha's Residential Reckoning. Yep, that's it. And then if you're interested in going to Omaha Symphony, again, that finale is this weekend. Shout out to Josh Tagg for giving out comping 2 tickets. If you're interested in that, reach out.
Yeah, man, hit up Josh Tagg for sure. Wanda Lewis says, I'd love to see Allen Showcase reinvented with live entertainment. You and Pop should locate the venue and think about that. I got a story about that. I'll tell you about it on Monday. Yeah, you want to hear this. Also, Gwen Easter says, please stop calling licensed childcare businesses babysitters. Calling you out, buddy, on that one. There are different types of childcare businesses, whether they operate out of home or a center. There are hundreds of licensed family in-home childcare centers that educate children and offer services to families. Yes, we totally agree. Don't mean it. We don't mean to take the professionalism out of the conversation there on that. But there are some opportunities to franchise that out and also train. And
that's what I meant. I wasn't necessarily calling childcare providers babysitters. I was saying y'all should hire babysitters and train them and bring them into what y'all doing. That's what I was saying.
We should stop calling them babysitters. Licensed childcare providers.
That's what I'm saying. People who aren't licensed, who you might have like a little cousin
who aren't licensed yet. Right.
Yeah. Bring them in. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I hear you. Okay, that's what's up. Well, we gonna go ahead and get out of here because we're hella late, right? It's 9:02 already, so we're gonna go ahead and get out of here. Buddy, you got some words for the people?
Man, as always, man, we appreciate love and enjoy the conversation that we have with y'all 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Again, if you also enjoying, tap in with us, tell a friend, come on through. We are getting close to the end of this season, so there will be some a short hiatus and some changes and things that we'll be working on. But as always, if you have any ideas, any changes that you would like to see, feel free to let us know. We're always listening, always looking for advice and ideas. And as always, man, until next time, man, take care of yourselves. Have a good time this weekend. Be safe. And I'll see you Monday. Paul B, take it away.
Yep. Right on. Miss Erica Felt says, wait, where did she go? She says, keep your space, drink your water, and don't wait until whatever to enjoy yourself. That's great advice. Man, enjoy yourself today. I heard that. I'm gonna enjoy myself today. Getting over there to Black Coffee and get the day started with food there, and then over to Fry Bread Friday over my man's Lavelle Wells spot this afternoon. It's gonna be a great day on that. Brooke says, great show, and thanks for spotlighting Zane. Yep, hey, that's my dude, bro. Congratulations. Yeah. Congratulations. He's straight out of kindergarten, moving on. Like I said, he's already writing letters and diatribes and all kinds of stuff coming out of kindergarten. We didn't know he can do. Going and journaling and everything. He might be a journalist later on. That's what's up. So, yeah, that's my dude. Can't wait to hang out with you tomorrow. And I can't wait to see you again and have these conversations with you, the chat chimers, again on Monday. It's going to be a great one. Thank you very, very much to the Umaha Tribe elders for allowing us to be on this land and speak while we're here. Thank you very much for our elders for allowing us to speak before them. Shout out to the Malcolm X Memorial Foundation that's got the huge Malcolm X celebration going on over there. I'm glad to see it happening. And shout out to Star Trek Rich and the crew over here for allowing us to always getting up early in the morning and fixing things and changing things around and making it so that we can broadcast live out of here comfortably. Really, really appreciate you guys. If you guys have podcast ideas, go to weberize.com and definitely check them out. Thanks to all of you, the chat chimers. We couldn't have this conversation without you. This is group storytelling that we got going on, and we need you for that. And shout out to everybody who's a reoccurring member or sponsor of the channel as well. We could not continue this without your support. If you have not supported yet and you're inclined to, please go to firstskyOmaha.com, hit the donate button, and become a reoccurring member of the channel. And we do have some events and things coming up soon. Like Buddy said, the season is going to be over in about a month. So, some rap parties and all kinds of stuff going on. And I really enjoyed hanging with everybody in person this last time around. We got to do it again soon. So stay tuned.
Yes.
And we'll be good. You guys take care of each other this weekend. We'll see you Monday. Have a good one, y'all. Peace.
Bye. the way, Vanglorious. This is protected by the red, the black, and the green.